Hello, my name is Damore Lachetti. I'm a double major in digital media and Japanese, and this is game design fall 2021. I've been playing games since I was really little, like Sims and stuff. My grandma got me to play that because, dress up. And little girls like that. I still like it because I cosplay, but and then it moved on to fighting games, shooters, zombie games, JRPGs. I got an obsession with Final Fantasy VII, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever. And I play a lot of games. Some are a little bit, a lot of them are more mainstream. Occasionally, I get something that's a little less mainstream. Like I really like Pharaoh and stuff like that. But I've probably been playing since I was 4. And it's almost been 20 years now. So, getting into the game industry, we're going to talk about ethics first. What should we put in games? Is it our fault if we put something in and someone copies it? Which, I understand that putting certain things in, like, really bad topics is, like, shouldn't be shown. You could, like there was a recent mini scandal of zombies saying a racial slur, and it was more of the noises that they used and combined together accidentally made the sound, and when players brought it up, they changed it immediately. So, good on them for doing that. A lot of other games won't do that. That's part of the story. Which, if it is like a story about racism, I could understand maybe it being put in, but it could also be handled differently rather than just throwing that in people's faces and making them uncomfortable when they're playing. And being uncomfortable can be an important teaching tool, but not when it's just there for shock value. Like a lot of things like GTA puts in for shock value. like the hookers and stuff, they're there for shock value. But I do believe that excuse my dog, that certain things should be included in stories, especially right now. Like, we're kind of moving back to being more conservative with human sexuality, and I think that's a mistake. That's a bad mistake. It's a part of everybody, whether you're asexual or just off the walls. It's an important part of the human experience, and if a game designer wants to put that in, they should. As long as they mark it correctly. Like, the ratings list. Now, if there's something a little further in there, maybe that should be put in if it's going to be more harmful to people who've had certain experiences. But I also think it's important that consumers pay attention to. Like, this is here for a reason. Read it. Like, a lot of people don't. Like, they let their kids walk out with it and have no clue. Like, I have to check my siblings' games sometimes. My sister came home with a game that you get to have a little too much fun with certain characters if you get friendly with them. And my mom didn't realize that happens in the game because the guy just gave it to my sister. She didn't even buy it. And he's just like, you can have this. So it's up to the consumer to look sometimes, or even have someone that's kind of informed to go, hey, do you know what's in here? Are you sure? Don't just let them walk away. So, I think ethics is not just like a one-way street, it's a two-way street. Things should be included in stories, they should be marked correctly, handled well, not there for shock value, but people should also pay attention and understand what they're buying before they buy it. And then, inclusivity in games is also becoming more prevalent. We're getting more POC people in the games, making the games behind the scenes. We're hiring more, and even companies they're not. They kind of get called out for it, and they're like, who all works for you? Is it all the same people, or do you have more of a cast? Which is important to have a wider cast of people, especially if you're handling certain cultures, to be respectful about it, which again goes back to ethics. We are starting to see a push for more people in, more women, more people of color, everyone in, more people of different sexualities, instead of making the gay people being the butt of the joke. How about they be the main character? Or you can choose to be that way. Sims is doing pretty good with that. They have all kinds of options of like, can you get pregnant? What do you like to wear? Like, how do you use the bathroom? And if you get mods, it's even more inclusive. But even just baseline, you're doing a lot better. And which Sims has always been a little bit better, just because didn't matter who you married. Your Sims don't really have a preference. So we're hiring more people behind that. We're pushing for more different hair textures, lengths, and stuff, more skin tones. Like, again, The Sims, they're like, okay. And they just pushed out a whole bunch more skin tones, and they're all customizable. They're pushing out more and more hair. Like, every time they update, they're like, here's more hair. And more like AAA games should be trying to do that. It's not hard. They just don't want to do it. But there's been a big push for that, and a lot of them are starting to move for that. I've noticed Apex Legends, I don't play it, but I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how they are designing really great characters, and they're not all just like, like me. They're not white, and they're not all the same race. They're not all male. We got a lot of female characters that have really nice designs, and they're not sexualized. No, boobs aren't out. And we just have more options now. And I think games are moving more forward to be progressive and having more representation, and there's been more of a push for accessibility too. Like, as I said with Resident Evil 7, I couldn't play it. Like, I managed to beat it, but it hurt to beat it. And then 8, it was a breeze. Like, occasionally I got, like, certain areas I got sick, like Donna's house with the big baby in it. It was kind of close quarters. Oh, that's a feather. And that made me sick. But the rest of the game did not make me sick, unlike Resident Evil 7. So we're getting more accessible features. There's talks of making different kinds of controllers that actually fit, like, female hands, or anyone has disabilities. They're more, like, accessible. So, like, if you can't move one of your hands too well, you have, like, another one. So there's being a big push to that. And that we're trying to include more people in game design. And it's really awesome. I think we are moving in a really good direction. And as I said, it's up to the consumer to support these people or don't support people, and to pay attention. Because if you don't pay attention, then if there's something you didn't want to see, it's kind of on you too. It's not just on them. That's the story they wanted to make, and you decided to get it. So if you got it and didn't know, well, might be time to return it. I'll see y'all next week.